And so right now I have the privilege of inviting up our next speaker. And if I was to invite him, I have so many ways of inviting him because I have known him for a short while, but in a meaningful way. He worked with Oracle, he worked with NSSF, he worked with NITA, now he's with Bank of Uganda. I'd like us to just give a very, very big round of applause as we welcome Mr. Collin Babirukamu to come up on stage. He's going to share about CIO priorities, but he may also go into a host of so much more. Collin, you're welcome.
Thank you, Timothy. And hi, everybody. How are you? Thank you for that very humble introduction. But I came quickly because I needed to be a part of the birth of something that is really, really special. Because the more you have CIOs coming together to just mentor each other and mentor even the younger people who are coming up, I think that's one major objective that we're going to have. Where people can be inspired, that you can come from an intern, making sure RAM, just putting RAM carefully into the slot was a very big deal. Anti-static, making sure then you just put the RAM in, and when the thing boots up, it took a while to boot, but it would boot. Okay? When it booted, you just see the BIOS moving, and it was cool. We looked cool doing that. But soon things shift quickly, and you can't be left behind if you're going to be a top CIO. Today, I spend more time studying about artificial intelligence than anything else. Number one, as a CIO, I had to move and shift from just being a tech guy. I quickly did my CCNA, CCNP. I was one of the first guys doing Microsoft. In the late 90s, I was teaching Microsoft, and I was teaching MCPs. Are they still MCPs anymore? MCSEs? Is that? Nobody talks about that now. It is prompt engineers, right? They now talk prompt engineer, AI, blockchain. But in our time, well, in the late 90s, you had to be a Microsoft certified professional, and there was a badge. We used to wear a badge. And Cisco certified. CCNA was a big deal. It still is, right, Ian? Ian is, by the way, a CCIO, right? Is CIO? CCIE. Please clap for Ian, because if you guys know what a CCIE is, it's like a PhD in Cisco tech. And in Uganda for a long time, I think we had one guy. We had one. I don't know how many there are now. There are two. You're the second guy. Okay. So Ian is among and they paid very highly for. I stopped at CCNP, but you can go higher. But today I am thinking, how do I reinvent myself? I had to do an MBA, and I'm just using my story, and I hope it just helps somebody, right? Because I think sometimes you just need to hear a working story and see, and I'm still learning. But moving from that intern many years ago, trying out different things. I have been to the private sector, public sector, and then I went to NSSF, and I was just 29 years old. I was coming from a big IFMS system at the Ministry of Finance and the World Bank. We were the Ugandans who put up the system. It was exciting, Oracle. And then suddenly, you're a CIO at NSSF, you're a young man, you have a big car, the big office. It's easy to get taken up by titles and everything, but I had a big responsibility. Systems had to be running. People had to line up for statements just to know your balance. You have to know somebody who knows Fred, who will get it for you. And even Fred giving you your balance was a privilege. Just your balance. Please, your balance only. I think the true CIO I discovered along the way is a problem solver. A problem solver. If it's something that I want you to take away today, is problem solving. The last 2 days, I've just been asked, how are you going to solve this? How are you going to solve this? How did you solve that? And you're speaking through a business lens, not a tech lens. They're talking NPV. You guys know NPV? Net present value, ROI, IRR, payback period. So I had to go and do my MBA. I discovered I was slightly in the wrong. I was doing Cisco, Microsoft, everything, semantic. I have all these certificates. Then I discovered, but if I'm going to talk in the EXCO, I must go back for my MBA. When I come back and listen, and I was working as head of IT, Ayota, who's now the MD, was the head of finance, and I wanted to talk like Ayota. auditor comes and says NPV and IRR. And I said, okay, I can also come and confuse them with my things, but we all won't go anywhere. So I decided to go and study my MBA, and that really helped, because now I can speak the language that they understand. And I've also learned to tone down my technical language, speak board language. And I think, Fred, you've just mentioned it right now, and you guys who are here. Albert, it's simple. If you can't speak their language, they look at you like this. Like Fred says, they won't be impressed. Uptime, downtime, TAT. It's nice, but they ultimately want to see value going up. So can you be a problem solver? How can a CIO now, today, talk AI? I've had to go back to school. I'm now doing my PhD, but with an AI bias. And I'm back in class. Adult learning is very difficult. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I am a tech leader, and then I've got to go back and read. But I'm thinking to myself, if I don't do this now, I'm soon going to be aged out in the conversations. So I want to stay relevant. So I'm actually speaking to somebody here. Maybe it's time for you to go back to that class somewhere, just to stay on the edge of things. Because right now, I can tell you at the bank, you listen to me more about AI, machine learning, about how it will handle fraud detection, how it will handle efficiency, how can I get the monetary policy statement by triangulating data sets. Something that people took 2 weeks to do, research people, I can now do almost in 5 minutes. With just have data sets, they're ingested, my LLM is up to able to pick them up. I'm now trying to build a small language model at the Bank of Uganda. We're trying to now explore how, instead of using, Anthropic and using ChatGPT and all the big boys, can we actually create our small language model at BOU because of data privacy issues? If we don't have GPUs or gaming processing units, so the expensive units that are in Europe and China and NVIDIA, can we create a small box? And I'm told now there are boxes. We're now investigating. By next year, we'll have one at BOU, this financial year. A small box that actually runs LLMs on CPU. It can actually run on a normal compute that's affordable. And because they're making them leaner and more efficient, and then still do the magic. I think, in my view, problem solving is going to be critical for every CIO. There's a day where we're going to reach, and the website it won't have drop downs. It won't have all the fancy colors. It will just have a prompt box. Can you imagine a website? Go to our website. I'm not saying BOU now. BOU now is still busy. But you should just have a prompt box that says, what do you want to know? Or how can I help you? And all you have to do is use natural language to type and get a response out of there. Like your ChatGPT right now. All it has is a prompt box. That's all. No fancy colors, nothing. Just a prompt. I think that's where we're going right now. And CIOs must get that very, very, very quickly. That it's no longer all the fancy. In fact, if you're still excited about your data center, I think you're in trouble. You should make it evaporate quickly. Because at NSSF, like at the Ministry of Finance, we came up with data centers. We had a big data center still there right now. And part of the duty was to take the board members and rather take the ministers through a tour of a data center. Oh man, I looked cool. There were colors flickering everywhere and cables, and you showed them how that server, the HP server, and then that server, these are the access servers, these are the core servers, and everything talks to each other. And we're going to buy more storage. This year we're buying more storage. It's more and more of everything. And our focus was never services. It was really the hardware. We showed off the colors and the lights. But the board is not listening to more and more real estate. The board wants to hear value, service, innovation, the new stuff that's coming, and how it will increase, the revenue that's coming in. So, problem solving, I think, is what I wanted to say today.